Today, we're jumping right into a huge tug-of-war that's happening at the very core of modern AI. We're talking about the battle between attention and recurrence. And trust me, it's a showdown that has completely reshaped how machines understand our world.
So, let's kick things off with a pretty fundamental question. Have you ever wondered how an AI actually reads a sentence or listens to a piece of music? It can't just look at it all as one giant chunk of data. It has to make sense of the order, the sequence.
And the answer to that question, well, it really boils down to two competing philosophies, two totally different ways of thinking. In one corner, you've got recurrence, kind of the old guard. And in the other corner, you have attention, the revolutionary challenger that's powering just about every AI tool we use today.
All right, let's start with our first contender, recurrence. You can think of this as the original, the established champ for handling sequences, the true step-by-step veteran of the AI world. Now, the classic model here is the Recurrent Neural Network, or RNN for short. The key concept, the thing that makes it tick, is its memory. It reads a sentence one word at a time, and with each new word, it kind of updates this running summary in its head of everything it's seen so far.
So the whole process is, by its very nature, sequential. It has to go in order. It takes the first word, updates its memory, which we call its hidden state, and then it takes that memory plus the next word and does it all over again. Every single step builds directly on the memory of the one that came right before it.
But there's a huge weakness with this step-by-step approach. It's called the vanishing gradient problem. Basically, in really long sequences, like a big paragraph, the memory of the words from the beginning starts to, well, vanish. The network basically forgets what it read at the start by the time it gets to the end. Its long-term memory is, frankly, pretty terrible. To fix this, researchers came up with some really clever upgrades, LSTMs and GRUs. You can think of them as just smarter RNNs. They have these special things called gates that are like little traffic controllers for information. They decide what to remember, what to forget, and what to pass on. It's a way for them to fight that memory loss problem.
And for a long time, this was as good as it got. This was the state of the art. But then somebody asked a question that would literally change everything. What if you didn't have to go step by step? What if you could just look at the whole thing at once? And that question leads us directly to our second contender, attention. Now, this isn't just a small upgrade, it's a completely different philosophy for handling sequences. It's the all-at-once challenger to the old guard.
This brings us to a huge moment in AI history, the year 2017. A landmark paper introduced the transformer architecture, which is the engine behind models you've definitely heard of, like GPT and BERT. Its secret weapon was something called self-attention. And it threw the whole step-by-step process right out the window. No more recurrence.
So what's the big idea here? Instead of reading a sentence word by word, an attention mechanism looks at the entire sentence, all at the same time. It's kind of like when you look at a painting. Your eyes don't scan it pixel by pixel, right? No, they're instantly drawn to the most interesting parts. Attention lets an AI do exactly that with data.
Okay, I know this sounds a bit technical, but stick with me. It's actually pretty cool. For every single word, the model creates 3 versions of it: a query, a key, and a value. Think of the query as the word asking a question, like, hey, who else in this sentence is important to me? It then compares its question to the key of every other word to score how relevant they are. And the words that get the highest scores, their values, get turned way up. So every word gets a rich new meaning based on its relationship with all the other words, all at once.
So now we've met our 2 contenders. It's time to put them in the ring, head to head, and see how they really stack up in a direct showdown.
The biggest, most fundamental difference is right here. Recurrence has to go step by step. It's inherently sequential, and that makes it slow. Attention, on the other hand, is parallel. It can process every word at the exact same time, which is a perfect match for modern hardware like GPUs and makes it way, way faster. Okay, let's look at the tail of the tape. When it comes to remembering things that are far apart in a text,
Attention is excellent. Recurrence is pretty limited. Training speed. Attention is fast. Recurrence is slow. What about interpretability? Understanding why the AI made a choice. Attention is great because you can actually see what words it paid attention to. Recurrence is more of a black box. The one area where recurrence might have a slight edge is on smaller data sets. Attention models are really, really data hungry.
So, after all that, who wins the belt? And what does the future of this fight even look like? Let's get to the verdict.
Now, attention has one major weakness. It's Achilles' heel. It's often written as ON squared, which is a fancy way of saying its computing cost explodes as the sentence gets longer. Think about it like this. If two people are in a room, they can shake hands once. Add a third person, now there are 3 handshakes. Add a fourth, and there's 6. The number of connections grows way faster than the number of people. That's exactly what happens with attention, and it makes it super expensive for extremely long sequences, like trying to process an entire book.
And because of that, recurrence is far from dead. Not at all. It's still the smarter choice for things like streaming data, think live speech to text, where the information is coming in one piece at a time. It's also great for situations where you don't have a ton of computing power or for simpler tasks with short sequences. But for the biggest, most impressive tasks that define AI today, attention is the undisputed champion. Machine translation, text generation, all the giant language models you hear about, they're all built on attention. It's the architecture that truly unlocked their potential. So the future isn't really a zero-sum game where one has to lose. In fact, researchers are now building hybrid models that combine the best of both worlds. Imagine a model with the all-at-once power of attention to understand context, but with the recurrent backbone to handle super long sequences or streaming data. That's where the real cutting-edge stuff is heading.
Which leaves us with one last thought. There's no doubt that attention is the dominant force in AI right now. It was a revolutionary idea that unlocked some truly incredible abilities. But as we've seen, it's not perfect. So the real question is this the final chapter? Or is it just another step in this long, incredible quest to build machines that can truly understand us?